we will not be beaten. Lord Oelde, let us move on.
We are the victors! Well done! Oh!
Hello Internet, hello War of the Visions fans, I'm Jackie Fox, and today we're going to talk about the Leonis family units, the brand new Leonises, both Helena and Oelde, and also we're going to be talking about Vivi here up front, because I'm on my newer account, the one that started with Final Fantasy VII Remake, started with Sephiroth and lucked its way into a Helena, then lucked its way into a Vivi. So I actually have the Vivi Helena Roth team that I think is so powerful right now. One reason is that Roth is just kind of the ideal tank for this team. There aren't a ton of re-raised tanks, and this is just one of the best suited and also the newest. So really great tank to have on this team. But also, Vivi is going to protect re-raise so much better than Helena will. Helena protects re-raise on herself, and it's questionable whether she's going to deal damage before your opponents. That can be a bit of chance, and unfortunately it makes her inconsistent in her ability to protect herself, and especially others. Vivi, on the other hand, much like Elia the Alabaster, has the ability to apply his re-raise protection to multiple allies. So what's going to happen in this team composition is that everyone is going to run to Roth in the center. Vivi is going to give himself and her re-raise protection, and then Helena is going to give herself re-raise protection, and still this plan has problems. I just want to make it clear that I don't necessarily like this as the best, most foolproof new mechanic, because it's not foolproof. You still have to hit them before they hit you, which is... it just feels like it exacerbates some problems already in the meta, but it's fine. It's fine, and this team actually works pretty well. They're fairly consistent in doing that, and Vivi himself is pretty good at protecting re-raise. Could he do it without Helena? Could he do it, say, Vivi, Raph, and Dark Fina? Maybe, especially if you get him in the middle. If you get that buff applied to everyone, sure. I don't think you necessarily need Helena to do that, and Vivi certainly does it better. And Vivi also has some pretty cool stuff. I really like him in conjunction with her, though, because, you know, this is already kind of inconsistent. So, adding more units to do the same thing raises its overall consistency, so I think that makes the team better. But also another cool consistency that these two teams have is that they have a lot of AoE damage. They have a lot of potential for AoE chaining as well. And, well, no, actually they don't have much AoE chaining potential, especially being a rainbow team. Regardless, magic as well. Magic damage doesn't chain at all. But you can have Roth set up with I want to say a 2-hit move that is going to lower basically all of their base stats, or all of their main base stats. And then it's going to allow you to do something like this. So this is a big AoE move. This is going to inflict stun. Let's say someone resists stun or can't be stunned. Well, fine. We can have Helena come in and use Rose Blast and put everyone to sleep. Well, maybe that last person doesn't resist sleep. Or, you know, you just got hit by 3 AoEs in a row. Maybe the team is just wiped at this point. So this is a very powerful team that can even lock down other teams offensively with a combination of sleep and stun. And remember that Helena can use that sleep attack multiple times. For Vivi, this is going to be a little bit of a one-trick pony, and that's going to hurt his locking abilities, especially in Guild War defense, probably most especially. But I do think that this team is probably one of the best that there is at this moment, just because... like the other Helena teams that I have made and played with and shown off so far, it is really consistent against a lot of types of teams, especially because the meta right now is built to defend not against magic but against physical. There's so much physical hate out there. There's not a lot of magical hate, and this team has a lot of very powerful magic. So that tends to work out pretty well in that it's kind of the opposite of the meta. It is niche enough to be powerful, as paradoxical as that can be sometimes. And there aren't enough other teams like it to really make it worth it to build against it sometimes. Although I would recommend maybe building a rune that has both stun and sleep protection just for this team. Because it's really important to the way that they work, or it can be in shutting you down at the very least. But there's a lot of stuff that this team does particularly well. That being said, a lot of some of the teams that I had a special trouble with Helena herself, all by herself, I think that this team is more stable against. It doesn't mean that this team doesn't have weaknesses, and it does, and it doesn't mean that it can't be built against and it can't be countered, because it absolutely can. The thing is that at this moment, not a lot of people are, which is good for it, but also, I don't know. Sorry, my brain just went completely blank there. It's just a really good and consistent team, because one of the biggest issues that I think Helena teams, or Helena-centric teams, had was, what if somebody comes in and removes everybody's re-raise quickly? That's always a big issue. You know, what if the re-raise ceiling doesn't do anything? What if they just take your re-raise? Because, especially with Elia the Alabaster, re-raise is in a really tricky and tenuous position than the meta right now, and it really needs units like this to make it more viable. So that can be a little bit scary, but it is more consistent against those teams than Helena herself. So you have a lot more of a fighting chance, which means that there aren't necessarily like bad matchups. There's just unideal matchups for this team. And all of this keeping in mind that, again, this team is probably the worst version of it that you'll see a YouTuber talking about, because this is a pretty new account, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a lot of time to pay super specific attention to this account, or to build up a bunch of things for it, or to grind through a bunch of events or stuff. I'm tired enough already. I don't have time in the day to build this account up too. But it's still, just off of the back of how good this team is, doing pretty well. So let's go into Missile. I could see Missile actually having an interesting place in the future, potentially. If re-raise and courage protection become more common, then the idea that removing courage and re-raise from range might become a lot more important. Again, it's going to get us into a hit them before they hit you meta. And I think that the people who are particularly most poised to benefit from that sort of a meta change would be super ranged units. But what we would have to see is upgrades that would give them re-raise and or courage removal on super long range skills. Stuff like that just landed needs to be able to remove either courage or re-raise, because you've got to be able to hit them before they can seal you. And I think that could potentially, on a powerful enough skill and a powerful enough character, either as upgrades to older units to make people like Elia, or I would really love Eliza, make characters like this viable again. Or it could be on a brand new character that has abilities like this. Either way, I think that those things could be particularly important for future of this game, so definitely something that is worth keeping in mind. But that being said, this is going to be my next to last fight, and we're actually getting bonked a bit by Elia here, and Elia is really getting lucky, even getting natural evasion, not even like reflex. And it is partially our fault for not maybe bringing a counter reduction chance or something like that. But we got her in the end. This team is also pretty strong, and it also... So this has potential to be a Pierce chaining team, in that both Joom and Zidane have access to piercing in their sub-jobs. This is going to make this team particularly good, probably swapping out Joom in this team for Veritas of the Heavens. Veritas of the Heavens is going to have a very powerful AoE resistance debuff ability. Right now in JP, 2P from Nier Reincarnation as a part of the Nier Automata collaboration has come out. And they accidentally gave her a skill. They gave her 50% AoE resistance reduction for 3 turns. It was supposed to be just for this one skill, but it ended up being for 3 turns. It's massive. It's a mistake. It's probably going to get repealed because it was clearly advertised to not work that way. It says in the description it doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to. Clearly this was a mistake, and I expect that. But also, there's a lot of people rushing in on it, and something I've seen in Ever Crisis a number of times. Whenever they notice a mistake on the banner, they rush in to buy as much as they can because they expect that they're going to get their resources back when the company says oops. And that might happen too. Maybe people get a lot of stuff back on their 2P banner in JP. I don't know how it's going to play out. But my point is that having a unit that can do a big area of effect resistance debuff is quite powerful, and that's going to be a real improvement for that team. So, this is kind of what I'm doing with my light team at the moment, just kind of a cursory overview, and I think I'm going to switch Addison over into healing mode. I'm also going to be playing around with Sylvie on that team a little bit later as well. So hopefully Healer Addison can kind of make up for not having a Sylvie on my team. This is my water team. Ferris here is kind of an offensive support. She has a lot of abilities to support in ways that a more rearguard unit usually would. Like, she can do kind of some of the things that this Resnick here can do. Kind of, sort of. While also being a Vanguard unit and being a powerful attacker and also quite a brawler. Pretty beefy. This whole team, everyone on this team is above 11,000 HP. Perrine being fully reincarnated, she's also quite beefy and badass herself, but you're going to see... Well... Okay, first of all, this map... This map has bonuses for lightning and lightning magic, and those are the two things that this team really just does not do well against. But unlike a lot of the past water teams, this team can absolutely shred a lot of everything else. They're quite powerful. And I'm running this as a rush team. If you remember the fire rush team that was popular with Valentine's Ildira when she came out, with her LB being able to hit the entire opposite team, potentially lowering their CT while I think raising hers. This really allowed you to like swing and change the turn order, bring their whole team down, bring your whole team up, and really wombo combo the hell out of them. So Perrine has a bunch of CT up. I'm also using her TMR to give more CT up on critical on that team. But also I have glinting armor on Oelde. I think there is some CT up with Ferris somewhere. I forget. I just get that feeling. I don't remember. Maybe... Well, no, Astrius doesn't have the supportive capabilities, but he does have some CT up shenanigans now. But then, and most importantly, is Elda's LB, which you can't throw downstairs and is very short range. So, typically you aren't going to see him use it on this map. We may only see it once in this video. This map is not good for Elda for that reason. However, you're still going to see Oelde kick a lot of ass because he is a great unit, even without his LB, which is probably, I would say, one of his better selling points in terms of just a single thing that he can do. And when you see that go off, you're going to see why that's such a big deal. It's going to give a very, very large area of effect that will most likely hit your entire team. It's going to boost their CT, boosting them all in the turn order and allowing them to follow up his LB, which is quite powerful with additional damage and probably take some people out. It's also going to increase their attack and their accuracy, so evasion isn't going to be a problem. They're definitely going to hit things. Well, it could be, but it's going to help them hit things if your team is already fairly accurate, and the rest of my water team is. But in addition to that, it's also going to give them the attack they need to maybe finish those characters off after taking a shot from Oelde. So just really powerful LB. It is holding him back that we can't use it on this map. It's also holding that water team in general back that they don't have the opportunity to really benefit from the map, since it's still a lightning bonus. I don't think we ever got Elda's in the middle of a lightning sandwich. They didn't change the arena map to give a water bonus for him. We're probably going to get a lightning bonus for Astrius. So Elda's just kind of fucked on having a time to stun on people in arena like most units do, but despite that, the fact that he's still doing quite well shows off how powerful of a character he is. I also like, since I don't have Vivi, I really like having Sylvie on here. I know she's still a level 120 character. Hopefully we get upgrades for her soon. But having full life, having a way to get a shield up and get fully healed all at once, all those things really make her important if I can't consistently protect my re-raise. Despite that, this team did not seem to have it going on, and even their Oelde was a little bit of a pushover. So we kind of stomped right through them. This is another form of that team, one that I wish I could do, and one that is very durable and very, very tough to deal with, intense to deal with. Because of the Summer Glaciella just being such an excellent tank to bring this team together. Definitely a good replacement for Perrine in the team that I'm running, and you'll see that perform quite well here. And while I do have a number of other things to say, I think I might save them for other videos. There's a lot of interesting stuff to look through here. I'm going to be alternating between teams, and I'm going to even be switching up kind of some of my light units and maybe adjusting teams a little bit throughout this video. But there's about an hour of footage here, and I worked really hard on this because I was having to do this despite the pixel glitches making it very, very hard to play on these accounts. But I got you the footage anyways because I'm a fucking boss, and if you appreciate that, like and subscribe. Also, a thing, if you don't want to watch another long video like this, you want something shorter, the video I highly recommend, I'm about to make this one right now. I did a video a little while ago about how to 120 your character quickly and efficiently while they were on banner, especially important for limited characters. I want to update that because it's actually easier now to go to 140 than it used to be to go to 120 in some ways. But there's some things that you need to do. There's some practices that you need for your account, some things you need to do to prepare yourself, some things you need to understand about the currencies and the way that various ways of getting shards work. And once you know these things, it's going to help you be able to do this without really feeling like you have to break the bank, because not knowing is really going to cause you to spend a lot of things that you don't have to and waste a lot of things that you, again, don't have to. So be sure to watch that video. That's going to be really important for older or newer players alike, anybody who wants to 140 a unit quickly. I just got Astrius yesterday. He's already 140 today. Check my YouTube post. It's already up. You can see the two posts a day apart. Pulled him, 140'd him the next day. And this is after fully reincarnating my Helena not very long ago for one of my previous videos. So still, even after that, had the resources to take Astrius to 140 as well. And I don't know, they'll do it again anytime soon, but you know, hopefully there won't be another great light or lightning or dark unit coming out in the near future. But I feel like I may have just jinxed myself with that, so I'm going to end the video here and say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.